How many islands have you been to?
A lot. Hi everyone, thank you for joining Joshua and Alyssa on Around the World with us. Episode 157. Alyssa is going to tell us some more about Hong Kong today. She started doing that in our last episode. Mm-hmm. So what do you got for us?
So today we're going to talk about an island that's part of Hong Kong. So Hong Kong itself is an island, and then it has other little islands that go with it, like a lot of other places around the world. And I got to go visit this island for a day with my friend Lydia, so I have some pictures to show you. This is the island of Cheung Chau. I'm sure my Chinese is terrible because I don't know Chinese. But, you know, based on what I see, that's what I'm guessing it's at. And if you take a regular ferry from Hong Kong, it's like about an hour ride, or if you take a super fast one, it's like 35 minutes. So I don't remember, I think we took the long one for the experience. So we went to this little island. You get there only by ferry or by boat of some sort or another because it's an island. And since it's an island, it's very well known for fishing. And that was back in the day, like its original plan for all the people was to do lots and lots of fishing. But they still do some of it today, and some of it they do kind of just to show the tourists what it's like. But it is still a vital part of the culture and the history of this little island.
Do they have fish farms there too, or is it all just
No, I think it's all from the ocean.
Okay.
Or, yeah, that's considered ocean. Right?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. And the other transportation is by bicycle. So the only vehicles that are allowed on the island are emergency vehicles. Otherwise, everybody has to walk or ride a bicycle of some sort.
Wow.
To get anywhere. But the whole island is only 0.95 square miles.
So
pretty small. But it's actually long, is what I was reading. So the island is long, but that only adds up to 0.95 square miles.
Yeah, and you could only have so many people driving before no one could drive anywhere.
Yes, and all the roads are really small because it was made as a walking place. You know, people take their boats and then they get there and they just walk. So lots of bicycles around, and bikes that you could rent if you were visiting as a tourist. And then lots and lots of fish, lots of dried fish. So that's what all of this is here in front of you. You can see it loose, and then they would package it up in little bags, whatever different kinds you would like. And we could even see them drying some of the fish. I think these are like little shrimp.
Yeah, that's what I thought. They look like a whole thing of shrimp.
Yeah, so it's almost like it's drying on like a screen, like kind of like for your window, but not exactly. It's a little bit different, but it just was really unique. They just had these big trays of them sitting out to dry them, so then you could go to a market somewhere and buy them all crispy, crunchy like that. So that is definitely a true fish snack, and very fresh from that area. We did a little bit of walking around when we were on this island, and I have some more things to show you next time that are a little bit more unique to this part of the island, but I had a little picture of us and the water behind us. It's kind of cloudy because that's very common for Hong Kong. Thank you, China, for all the extra pollution and stuff.
Did you get to eat any fish while you were there?
I don't think we had a meal there. I think we went back. So Hong Kong is really famous for lots and lots and lots and lots of kinds of food. So I think we went back once we took the ferry back and then had food back on the main island. Okay. We didn't have fish there. But, I mean, if you wanted to have some crispy little shrimp snacks, they were there.
Maybe.
Yeah. So that was a little bit more about Hong Kong. It's been really fun to go back and look at those pictures because it's been a while since I've been there. But it was really fun to go. And
cool.
Yeah. Okay, I have some more for our story. Now remember, these are the short stories, so don't get a big snack.
Okay.
It has to be a little snack, like little shrimp snacks. Okay, we talked about last time how we were starting a story about the girl who sang in the goat house. And you have to find out why that's the title of the story. And it's a story about a girl named Wamdi and the country of Nigeria. So, let's actually talk about her story today. So, Wamdi stood by the door and she kind of played with the edge of her dress and she tried to peek around the corner, but she was really nervous. She really couldn't go inside this class with all the rest of the kids, right? But beyond that door, there was going to be tables and desks and paper and pencils and all sorts of cool things that she didn't really have any experience with. It was like super mysterious to her, but it also made her really scared. Because inside that room, that classroom where these other kids were, was a bature, which is what her people called the missionary. They said that this missionary would swallow up Wamdi's spirit if she got close to her, and that made Wamdi really nervous. So she wasn't sure if she really wanted to go into the school, but there were so many cool things going on inside. And lots of the people in Wamdi's village told this rumor that if the people got close to the missionary, their spirits would get swallowed up. I think mostly to just scare them away. But Wamdi was so curious. She really wanted to see a little bit more. So she went around the corner of the door and she stood in the back of the class and she thought maybe the Mature won't even notice that I'm here. Maybe she won't know that I'm back here, not really participating in the class or anything. But of course, the missionary teacher saw her from the front of the room and she invited her in and she said, "Why don't you come and have a seat?" So Wamdi kind of like hesitantly went up to one of the desks and the teacher sat her down and she gave her a paper and a pencil. And it was the first time Wamdi had ever held a pencil before. She thought, wow, this is really cool. It's all smooth on the sides. And then the missionary teacher said, "Let me show you how to make the first letter in your alphabet." And she put her hand over Wamdi's hand and helped her kind of shape the first letter. And Wamdi thought, wow, this lady is so kind and gentle. I don't think she's going to be swallowing up my spirit. That just seems kind of silly. And her curiosity kind of got the best of her and she had to keep going. So this missionary teacher was Miss Francis. I think I told you that was her name last time. And she was excited to teach these children how to read and how to write the letters in their own language. And she was very friendly. She tried to be really encouraging to the kids, and she probably knew all these rumors that were going on about her, but she decided she was still going to be friendly and she wanted these children to hear the good news of Jesus and to be able to read for themselves someday. So guess what? Wamdi went back to school, of course. So she kept going back day after day and she learned more and more letters. And finally she was able to start to learn how to read. And that was amazing. The only book, though, that was in Wamdi's language at this point was the Bible. So the language of Wamdi's people hadn't been written down. The Tengali people hadn't been written down before the Bible was translated into their language. So the language was written down, and the very first book to be published in their language was the Bible. So she got to learn to read the words of the Bible as the very first words she learned to read. And she loved going to the class. She really loved hearing the things that Miss Francis had to tell her about the Bible. They were really interesting things to Wamdi. Some of the verses and some of the things that Miss Francis kept saying, and she kept talking about God's love. And that really caught Wamdi's attention. And you're going to have to come back next time to hear what else she learns.
Okay, we're just moving right along today.
I told you it was a short story.
Yeah.
No long snacks for you.
Nope. All right, we have a ministry that we're going to tell you about today that my brother is helping with. And so that brother is Jesse Huang, my oldest brother. And he is doing an internship with Spread the Word Ministries in Michigan. Allen Park, Michigan, to be more exact. So here is a picture of him with his team of other interns and directors.
I couldn't even find him.
Yeah, he's the short guy in the middle.
That's funny.
He has been out there for a few weeks now. And he said that the first few weeks of the internship included training sessions, church event setups and teardowns, outreach events, which we'll get into in a moment, and a couple other events that we'll talk about as well. The training sessions were, well, first of all, here's the church where they're kind of located. They're headquartered. This is Intercity Baptist in Allen Park. And this is the high school with the church, and that is where they are living. So they're sleeping and staying in classrooms.
Oh, that makes sense. They don't need the school in the summer.
Yeah. And I'm sure there's like, for athletics and things, they have the
showers,
locker rooms
bathrooms,
to their disposal. So yeah, it does work out nice. He sent a picture of his room. I didn't have it to include here, but it looked nice. So here's a picture of the training session. And that was done during the first week at the seminary. So there's a seminary also attached to this church. The sessions were led by pastors, seminary professors, and other church staff there at Intercity Baptist. They included topics on the basics and purpose of the gospel, church leadership and teamwork, purity, qualifications for ministry, basics for preaching and teaching. One of the main goals they had this summer was to connect local churches to the people in their community. Great idea, right? And one of the ways they did that was with dodgeball. And so they had dodgeball tournaments.
That's Jesse in the picture. He looks like one of the kids.
Yeah, I know. He's a little guy. So these dodgeball tournaments are held in local churches in the area. So they start out by spending a day or two canvassing around local schools and neighborhoods. And then the night of the event, they set up 9 square so that the kids could play while they were getting the tournament all ready. And then when the tournament began, they split the kids into teams of 5. And they had 3-minute rounds of dodgeball. And this went on for about half an hour to 45 minutes. These tournaments.
Outside.
Yeah, and I wonder if maybe they also did some inside based on that first picture.
Oh, okay. Maybe it
So-
just depends on where they're doing it.
Yeah, so we saw one in the gym. This one is in the grass, and the next one we'll see is on like a basketball court or a parking lot or something. So they played several rounds of dodgeball. Then they take a break for a gospel presentation and pizza dinner. So there's the one that's outside on pavement. And then they have their pizza dinner. And then after that, or while they're doing that, each of the interns take a team of kids and they present the gospel to them. So it's like one on few gospel presentations. Here's a picture of Jesse at his table. And looks like half the kids there didn't want their picture taken. He said it has been so cool to see the response from these kids. Some of them are kids from the church, but many of them are from the community and come from very hard situations. And so many of them are hearing the gospel for the first time. And he enjoyed sharing the gospel, but also answering their questions. After this, the pizza and the gospel presentations, they play elimination rounds. So the first part must have been like round robin, where you just...
Play each other.
Yep. And then they have the elimination rounds afterward. And the winning team receives $100 to split among the 5. So they each get $20.
Oh, so that must be the beginning picture. There was a kid holding money, I think,
Oh.
in the gym.
You know what? I missed that. Let's see.
So that kid has money in his
Oh,
hand.
you're right. Maybe this was like the winning team. Or else that kid was from the winning team. Oh, no, 2 of them have money. You're right. Good job. So that is the dodgeball outreach. And then they play a few more rounds of freestyle dodgeball 9 square and the kids head home.
Cool.
They also do worldview surveys at Wayne State University. So on Tuesday mornings, they go to downtown Detroit and walk around and do worldview surveys with the college students. The surveys are designed to help people recognize their worldview in 10 questions or less. So they use this to generate conversation, but also as a way to invite people to have a Bible study if they're interested in learning more. And this happens every Tuesday evening, so same day, with Campus Bible Fellowship. And he has had several opportunities to have gospel conversations with people while visiting the campus. On Sunday evenings, they are involved in children's ministries. So they partner with Grace Baptist Church in River Rouge, and First Latin American Baptist Church in Mexican Town. Half of the group is assigned to one, while the other half is assigned to the other of these two churches. And at these locations, they start with 9 square. And then the girls usually will make beaded bracelets while the guys are playing games. And then they will have an organized game, Bible lesson, pizza again. It sounds like he's having a lot of pizza on this internship.
He might be done with pizza after the summer.
And then when it comes time for the Bible lesson, the children are split into smaller groups, and the interns teach each of the groups. Another thing they are doing is spending a chunk of time doing church planting projects. So they spread the word is focused primarily on training young men for church planting and evangelism. So one of the main projects in the internship is identifying where a church plant could possibly be planted in a specific part of Detroit.
So this is multiple churches that have come together to kind of support these interns, or like give these interns things to do?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's led by Intercity, but then all these other local churches work together to give them opportunities.
That's a lot of good cooperation.
Yeah, in a big metro area.
Yes.
Imagine if
Detroit is.
Imagine if we did something like that here in Minneapolis. That'd be really cool. The 9 interns for this summer were divided into 3 groups and paired with a pastor or church planter in the area. So then they're assigned a specific section of Detroit, and they have to get to know the people, the demographics. And Jesse was assigned to West Dearborn, and it's a highly Islamic populated area. Also home to the Henry Ford headquarters and museum. When I saw this picture, I thought, man, that is no small mosque.
No, wow, that's like a whole compound.
Yeah. He said the people and culture here are very different than what he is used to in Iowa. The people are very welcoming and friendly because a lot of them are from the Middle East. He loves interacting with them and getting to know what they value, but it also saddens him to see so many people who are blind to sin and their need for the gospel. So that is a little bit about what Jesse is doing this summer. A lot. Sounds like he's pretty busy. First, for prayer requests, he says pray for spiritual growth for him and for the other interns, for physical strength as they do all these different things, but that they would also be able to fulfill their responsibilities well. Pray that God would use this internship to help equip them for life and ministry in local churches and as they seek other ministries that fulfill the Great Commission. And then pray that God would soften the hearts of those that they interact with and that people would be convicted of their sin and see their need for a Savior.
Cool.
So he will be there until August. And I think early August is first week of August, something like that, when he comes back. So yeah, sounds like 2 months out in Detroit.
It's a big project.
Yeah.
Cool. I love hearing that all those churches are working together and that they're getting these guys involved in a ministry project like that. That's very cool.
Yeah.
In a big city.
Yeah, it makes it really practical for the next time if you decide to go into church planting or work at a local church somewhere and you do a similar project, you already have the groundwork laid, so now you can just do it again.
You just play 9 square dodgeball pizza.
And learn the demographics of the city, yes, but make sure lots of pizza.
Maybe. Okay, make sure you come back next time to hear more about Hong Kong, some more of our story, and somebody else serving around the world.
And pray for Jesse.
Yep.
Bye.
Bye.